Thabo Bester.
Thabo Bester is
Thabo Bester.
Thabo Bester is.
Thabo Bester has dominated headlines since news broke of his escape from prison.
Thabo Bester, the man who conned the nation, his justice system, and its hard-working citizens as if it were a sport. But let us first travel back in time to get a picture of what made Thabo the man he is today. Born in Johannesburg, Gauteng on the 13th of June 1986, however, this is not known for certain due to Thabo's birth certificate still being under speculation. His story begins with tragedy from the start, as he was conceived through sexual abuse of his mother, Maria Mabaso. Thabo's early life was marked by a series of unfortunate events. Due to his mother's demanding work schedule, he was entrusted to the care of his grandmother at a young age. This resulted in limited opportunities for him to form a close bond with his biological parent. According to his grandparents, Thabo's first moments of deceit started at the tender age of 4, where a substantial sum of money to which Thabo claimed a neighbor had given to him. Surprisingly, the neighbor had no knowledge of the missing money, leaving everyone baffled. In 1997, Thabo enrolled in law school Danitheron in Kibble Park, south of Johannesburg. Sources differ on the extent of his education, with conflicting reports mentioning grades 5, 7, or even just 3. Regardless, Thabo's primary school teacher recalled his remarkable ability to manipulate others even at such a young age. According to the teacher, while his peers were learning to read and write, Thabo was already extorting money from those around him. His poverty-stricken background became his weapon, as he conned people into believing he needed money for books, school supplies, or even bus fare. Teacher lamented how people fell for his sob stories and donated money to support his supposed needs. In 2004, 2 years after his grandmother's passing, Thabo was already dubbed the con artist of the northern suburbs, which said he would have scammed almost over 300 pupils. He targeted and scammed wealthy and older residents by dressing as the perfect scholar, wearing a blazer adorned with 9 honor scrolls, a prefect badge, standing on the side of the road and looking to be picked up. The intention was to get something from them, then even pocket a few goods from their handbags whilst being dropped off to the next location.
So there was a young schoolboy standing there with what I thought was a Hyde Park High uniform, and he had numerous scrolls, which is why I actually looked at him, and he put his hands together in like a pleading, praying thing. Opened the window, I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "I'm late for my matric exam." He said, "I live with my granny, I'm an orphan, and my granny's ill, didn't have the right money for taxis, I'm going to be late for my exam." And in retrospect, all he wanted from me was just to give him $100. We actually drive to the school in Midrand, but the whole way he's talking, and he told me that he was 18 rugby and was an amazing athlete, and he had all the scrolls, didn't even think twice about what he was telling me, and that he had an athletics meet in Durban. He had no idea because he just didn't have the funds, and I drop him at school and off I go.
Thabo's criminal activities caught up with him in 2006, where one of his victims tricked him into running straight into the police's hands. Although he wasn't convicted, instead he was placed in a rehabilitation program, but then somehow slipped back into the darkness again. 2009, Thabo re-emerges in court facing unsurprisingly fraud charges led to a 6-month prison sentence or a fine of 1,500 rand in which he could not pay, resulting in his first incarceration. Having done his time, Thabo continued his fraudulent schemes. Using fake Facebook profiles, he lured young women into thinking he was an international modeling scout, promising them lucrative careers. With up to 13 different aliases, Thabo targeted women in Durban, Johannesburg and Cape Town, meeting them in upscale hotels and resorts under the pretense of discussing contracts. However, his true intentions were far from honorable, as he robbed and even forced himself on them at knife point. These crimes would tragically escalate to murder, as justice finally caught up with Thabo when he was convicted and sentenced to serve up to 50 years in jail for rape, robbery and tragically even murder. His victim, Nomfundo Taihulu, a long-distance girlfriend and a BMW saleswoman, met a gruesome fate at his hands. A heated argument in Cape Town bed and breakfast turned deadly when Thabo stabbed her in the chest and carelessly left her to die. This series of events that unfolded led to Thabo being infamously known as the Facebook rapist. Now you would expect this to be the end of the story, with Thabo serving a life sentence behind bars and all his victim families coming to peace as justice has been served. Unfortunately not. This is where things take an unexpected turn, and what gave Thabo the nickname Con Artist of the Decade. Incarcerated at the Magong Correctional Center, one of South Africa's largest private correctional facilities, Thabo managed to turn his imprisonment into his own playground. Through a crafty loophole in the justice system, he enrolled with Damlin College to study graphics designing and even acquired a personal laptop within his prison cell. Armed with years of conning experience and his newfound graphic designing skill, Thabo was ready to launch his ultimate scam, 21st Century Media. Adopting the alias of Tom Mosepe, a wealthy businessman from New York and a purported family member of billionaire Patrice Mosepe, Thabo concocted an elaborate facade. Claiming to be the chairman of 21st Century Media, a subsidiary of the American media giant 21st Century Fox, Thabo deceived businesswoman Fumutso Tenga through social media. He enticed her with promises of enrolling out ARVs to disadvantaged communities through a connection he had with a renowned doctor. And that's where Dr. Nandipa Sekeleni Magudumana enters the picture. A successful South African medical doctor and CEO of Optimum Medical Solutions, Dr. Nandipa had it all. Married in 2013 to Dr. Mukuseli Oscar Magudumana and mother to 2 girls, it seemed picket white fences was not part of the agenda. So who's Dr. Nandipa, you ask? Only Bonnie to this Bonnie and Clyde story. Born in Bizana, Eastern Cape, Dr. Nandipa had already encountered Thabo in 2006 while she was a med student at Wits University. She had been one of his promo girls for a scam modeling agency he operated back then. Their communication remained dormant until 2017 when she was publicly seen visiting Thabo in prison. Thabo continued with his latest scam, 21st Century Media, where he actually attended an event from prison via video call straight from his prison cell, posing as Tomo Sepe, New York International Chairman of the 21st Century Media, and causing the infamous video of them singing happy birthday to him whilst in prison. The 21st Century Media facade ran its course after staff and employees got weary of the chairman never actually being there, and legal action was taken from the 21st Century Fox legal team. Thabo used the confidence with the scam to move on to bigger things. Utilizing the money acquired from numerous scams and with the support of a renowned doctor by his side, Thabo was prepared to challenge the very justice system that had kept him confined. With frequent visits and communications with Dr. Nandipa, the stage was set for the great escape. April 27th, 2022, Nandipa's father, Magudumana Zoli Sekeleni, an ex-educator for 12 years, hires a car from OR Tambo Airport. Dr. Nandipa then collects a body from the Free State Mall, claiming to assist with funeral arrangements. She then uses the hired vehicle to transport the body from OR Tambo Airport to a fake funeral, in which the body had been replaced with 10 kilogram sandbags in the coffin. Sinoe Ismail Matsuhara, Mangon Correctional Center supervisor, then transports the body from the funeral home to the facility 2 days later on the 29th of April. Prison guard Motanyane Buti Masukela then allows the vehicle inside without any security checks, as a senior official supervising at the time had to rush to a fake medical alert given to him. Once inside, CCTV technician Tebogo Lipolo receives the body in a kist, where he transports it into the center's workshop. Shortly after this, the van is then searched. 30th of April, the following day, Tebogo then transports the body into a wheelie bin through the emergency door into a dark room that no one in the prison ever goes, and leaves it there for the next 4 days. On the same day, Thabo then applies to be moved to a more secure cell, as he stated he did not pay his protection fee to the 26 gang, where DCS, Department of Correctional Services, eventually approved. After approval, he is then to replace another inmate in cell 35, which is said to be a blind spot for the CCTV cameras and right next to the emergency exit. On the evening of 2nd of May, Tebogo pretends to clock out to assist Supervisor Sinoe and bribe staff with the escape plan. Later the morning, on the 3rd of May, 2:30 a.m., Tebogo is then called by Sinoe to assist with an issue at cell 35, while Sinoe creates a medical distraction in another sector of the prison. Thabo is then led out of the cell to make way for the decoy body while dressing up into a G4S uniform. Thabo and Tebogo walks out of the emergency exit at 2:59 a.m. manned by control room of Tehio France and Natasha Johnson. Decoy body was then set alight, where a mattress was doused with petrol while the body was left underneath to maximize damage. The fire was only extinguished at 3:30 a.m., 30 minutes after having started by on-site firefighters. Once everything was cleared up, prison officials confirmed the death of Thabo Bester as suicide by fire, sent to Magong State Forensic Mortuary, where a possible autopsy was carried as no suspicion arose at the time. Being driven 4 hours from the prison, Thabo then arrives to his 12 million rand Hyde Park mansion, already paid out for 1 year, with his girlfriend Dr. Nandipa and her 2 daughters. Following day, Dr. Nandipa went to claim the charred body at the mortuary as her deceased husband, only to be denied due to suspicion. Thabo operated under the fake name TK Makwana, obtaining a fake driver's license, and could continue their many scams, including the main construction scam company, RM Properties, which was started in 2017 already, said to have made millions for the couple. They would advertise and promise lavish homes to be built, as well as hold marketing lunches to their clients and investors, only to take their savings and provide many delays and never fulfill the projects at all. Thabo would also feel nostalgic and get some modeling agency recruitment fees now and then to remind him of the good old days. It will only be on the 1st of July 2022 when officials starts putting the pieces together after DNA samples that did not match Maria Mabaso when claiming a son at the mortuary. After further investigation, officials only then identified the true identity of the charred body left in Cell 35 that night. Katlego Bereng, age 31, father of 2, supposed missing all this time. His family finally found him. However, the autopsy report stated death by low blood sugar when he collapsed at a taxi rank days before the escape. Now, new autopsy conducted concluded death by blunt force trauma, alerting officials even more. 17th of March 2023, after DCS, JICS, SAPS and Hawks completed the investigation and conducted a meeting with all evidence in hand, issuing an arrest warrant to Thabo Bester, confirming the Facebook rapist is still at large and roaming freely. 100,000 rand reward was posted, providing any information leading to their arrest. Thabo and Dr. Nandipa abandoned the mansion after dropping her daughters off at school and never returning, leaving a father to pick them up. They travelled by car and was confirmed by the trace and track team to be in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe on the 17th of May 2023 through to Zambia, and were headed to Tanzania using fake documents. April 7th 2023, just before Good Friday, Thabo and Nandipa, along with Mozambique national Zacharia Alberto, were finally captured by police after a 2-week chase in the Arusha region, just 10 kilometers away from the Kenyan border. Zacharia was said to have aided Thabo and Nandipa as a driver, but further information in his involvement is yet to be attained. 9th of April at 4 a.m, the couple landed in Johannesburg, where they were split at Lanseria Airport under police custody, hence finally breaking the Bonnie and Clyde duo to face trial. Thabo was submitted to the Ngoshi Mampuru Correctional Facility based in Pretoria, and Dr. Nandipa in Bizarre Makate Center C, Female Center, based in Kroonstad. Thabo Bester, Dr. Nandipa and 7 other suspects are set to appear in court on the 8th of August 2023 in the Bloemfontein High Court